Hey guys, Charlie Murphy here. Thanks for choosing my video. Playing another session of 1-2 no limit 6 max games on Bovada. Table 1 under the gun player opens. I 3-bet the cutoff with ace queen. Short stack player timing out, and we just lost him unfortunately. Table 3 opening king jack suited under the gun. Ace queen 3-bet gets called. Get the undergun player. Get a 7-7-5 two-tone board. I do have the ace of clubs nut flush draw blocker. I'm going to go ahead and continuation bet half pot on that low board. Table 3, my king jack suited faces a 3-bet from the small blind. Kind of on the cusp here in a tight formation, but it's going to be okay to go ahead and defend some of these suited Broadway cards, so I'll call and take the flop. Table 1 and that board tripping card, the 7, I'm going to go ahead and check back. I can make the nuts on a 7 or effectively an ace. Queen is also a very good card. Still has some showdown value against busted draw type hands. Table 3, get a small bet on the ace-ace-jack two-tone board. I'll go ahead and defend for a call. Take that turn. Best cards would be aces or jacks. I'm going to try to take my showdown here with ace-queen high, not trying to fold him off a pocket pair for a boat. Gladly showdown for free against busted flop flush draws that just have high cards and are less good than my queen, ace-queen high card hand. Second barrel here on the ace-ace-jack 4 double flush draw board. Going to go ahead and fold against the second barrel. I want to have flush draws. Trips are better to continue right there. I think in this type formation, fold a lot of my marginal bluff catcher type hands on the turn barrel. You know, I can have jacks full. I can have ace-queen, ace-jack, ace-10. And ace-king offsuit. Table 2, blind on blind, open an ace-3. I'm going to check to the big blind on the ace-king-queen two-tone board. I've got a weak top pair. Checks through, turn is a 7 of hearts, putting a second flush draw. But I'll keep checking my weak ace, looking to induce bluffs or value bet at one street on the river. Checks down. River is the 7 of diamonds, closes the flush, and also puts a board pairing card up there. I'm going to go ahead and just try to get called by a king or a queen and bet out here in this line. Table 3, open an ace-10 in the cutoff. Table 1, going to open king-10 suited blind on blind. My ace-10 faces a 3-bet out of the big blind. It's a little too weak to defend. Just go ahead and fold that one. An open limper on table 2. Going to keep an eye on that. He limp calls. I think that's probably a pretty good indication he's a recreational player. Got the tag on him. Going to keep an eye on this table here. Table 3, button opens. I am in the big blind with queen 6 suited. I'll defend that. Take a flop. Flop second pair on ace, queen, deuce. Also a backdoor flush draw on that 2-tone board. His hand will be very firmly in the check call range here against most bet sizes. Bet's a quarter pot. I'll go ahead and check call my second pair. Turn is a blank offsuit 4. Table 4, open ace-9 suited from the button. Get a second barrel here. I'm going to go ahead and continue calling with my queen. River is the 7 of diamonds, a flush closing river. He bets pot on that third barrel. I'm not getting a whole lot of ace-x vibe here. I'm getting like flush or better vibes on this. You know, it doesn't make sense to be doing that with a hand like ace-jack, ace-10, and that river size up here. I don't think. You know, I'm speculating. I really can't know that for a fact. I think it's going to be okay to fold. I'm a little suspicious there, though. Good bluffs there would be like busted Broadway gut shots, particularly with the diamond in hand. A king of diamonds with a jack or a 10 would be very likely reasonable good bluff candidates. Oh, excuse me. Open king jack suited from the button on table 3. I had tagged us a recreational players playing awfully nitty thus far. We do have a broken half stack filling in the seat behind me, so I think I'll keep an eye on this table for a little while. My king jack of diamonds faces a 3-bet, button versus big blind. I'm going to go ahead and continue against that for a call. Got an ace-king rainbow board. Be very happy to check this back if he checks for some reason. Table 4, recreational player limps. I'll complete the small blind with 10-7. Face a half-pot bet on table 3. I'll go ahead and defend for a call with my pair of kings. Turn is a 3 that puts a backdoor flush draw up there. I'll go ahead and check back. No reason to try to bluff him off a trip ace. No reason to really Bet to deny equity or get value for much worse. Very easy check back on the turn, in my opinion. Checks again. I think we just take the showdown here. It's pocket nines. Table 1, min open from the cutoff. I'll defend the big blind with king 7 suited. Flop second pair, ace king 9 rainbow. I do have a backdoor flush draw to go with my second pair. He goes and he overbets 1.5x or more so a pot. I'm going to fold that on the flop. Table 4, open an ace 10 from the button. My ace 10 gets 3-bet by the small blind. I'm just going to go ahead and fold that one. Probably call ace queen and then bluff with hands like ace jack, maybe king queen. Fold ace 10, king jack. Table 3, it looks like we had the new player posted a dead blind. Small blind limps in. I check in with my 8-10. I flop an open ender on 9-7-3 rainbow. The short stack poster goes ahead and stabs for pot. I will check call with my open ender and overcard. Table 4, opening king 3 suited from the cutoff. Against the second pot size barrel, I no longer even necessarily am drawing to the nuts. Now the board is paired. I'll just go ahead and check fold my draw against the large bet size from the recreational player, showing multi-street aggression. Open them pocket deuces on table 1. In table 1, I face a 3-bet out of the small blind. I can defend in this loose formation with my pair, so I'm going to call and take a flop here with deuces. Get a jack 9-8 rainbow board. Not all that pretty, looking for pocket deuces, so I'll be mostly folding here on this flop against a bet. He checks. I think I'll just check back. Turn is the 6 of clubs. I guess I have showdown value against hands like ace king, ace queen. Checks. I'm going to check again. River of 4, so I still beat hands like ace king, ace queen. I don't really think there's a lot of merit in trying to get into fold off one pair. I think I just want to try to show down here against those hands. Against ace queen, my hand is good. Table 4, button opens. I'll 3-bet the small blind with ace 5 suited, and on table 1, I'll open the cutoff with king 5 suited. Face a 3-bet on table 1. I will muck the king 5. I'm going to shuffle out table 1. Keep looking for nice, juicy, fishy tables. Games are okay, but not great at the moment. Table 2, gonna open Jack 10 under the gun. It's a loose open, but we have a half-stacked recreational player out here at the table, so I'll play a few more hands. Table 2, cutoff opens. I'll 3-bet my small blind with the pocket jacks. Get called. Great flop for me. Ace, Jack 4. Gonna go ahead and put in a small continuation bet. Calls. Turn is the 10 of clubs. Closes, flushes, and completes Broadway. I also block a lot of the checkbacks here. Hands like Queen Jack, King Jack. I guess even Jack 10 could be a checkback, though that one might bet. I'm going to go ahead and check here. Obviously not planning to fold. Interesting river. I now have the underfool on that board pairing ace. I think I want to check to give him a chance to bet his aces or his bluffs and try to check raise. Table 4, recreational player limps. I'm going to raise out of the blinds with pocket queens. He goes ahead and stabs small. He stabs about a third pot. Gonna check jam here for like one and a quarter pot with a small over bet. Table 3 gonna open king queen on the button. Table 4, the rec limps and then limp re-raises me. I'm gonna flat with the queens and take a flop. Get a king 10-4 rainbow board. Check jam, he tanks and then he calls. He calls off with ace 5. So he actually had the flush on the turn. And he also blocks full house with that ace in his hand. So it's kind of a cooler for him there. I don't know why he doesn't just start betting the turn with the flush, but I guess it's okay to check some back to have some real strong hands in your check back range too. Gonna keep checking here with the pocket queens against that limp re-raise. Not even an overpair on the king high board. Table 3 gonna open 5-4 suited from middle position. Slightly loose, but I think I got a poor player out there to go after. Gonna open deuces from middle position on table 1. Called a small bet on the turn over there on table 4. River is a jack. Gonna continue checking in flow. I'm gonna bluff the deuces here. Table 1, gonna overbet. Table 3, gonna go ahead and put a small continuation bet on the ace-7 deuce board. I do have a gut shot in the backdoor flush draw. He goes ahead and bets half pot. Like, I really am worried about hands like aces and ace-king quite a bit here, but the odds are so good. Even though he did do kind of a strong limp re-raise pre-flop, I think that is just going to be a little bit too good to risk, folding the best hand. I have a hand as strong as pocket queens. Price is just so good. He's got queens himself, so we chop. At least I didn't fold the chop. Expected rec type player, min opens. He may or may not be a rec. Not entirely sure of that quite yet. And he's been flatting in weird spots, whatnot. Table 2, I'll open ace king suited under the gun. We got this open in the re-raise. I'm going to go ahead and cold 4-bet with my pocket kings. Kind of cold 4-bet queens plus ace king to stack off here. Then mix in some bluffs like ace queen offsuit, suited broadways. No flat calls in the range here. This seems entirely unnecessary. Get called, getting ace-10-6 two-tone board. Not the ideal board for kings, but going to go ahead and put in a continuation bet for a small size, about a quarter pot here. And I take that one down, even though I didn't really have all that great a hand. I'm glad to pick up that pot. Table 2, opening Jack-10 from the button. Big blind comes along for a call, get an ace-10-6 two-tone board. I do have the jack of spades in my hand as a little bit of extra backup or flush draw blockage. Checks to me, I'll go ahead and put in a small continuation bet. Plan to be checking back most turns. I suppose the 10 is the very best turn I can find. I think even a jack turn I'd be checking back, as I have a second and third pair, but on a board where Broadway straights are possible, and in fact lots of them. Table 1, I've got king 5 suited in middle position, kind of loose, but I've got some recreational players out there, so I'm getting in. Table 2, I face a check raise in a pretty decent size. I've got a piece of that board, so I don't think I should be folding quite yet, but I already don't love this very much. Turn is the king. I actually think this might be a hand where we start turning things into bluffs. Let me think about that for a minute, because I can still have hands like gut shots in that 7, 8, 8, 9 region. as well as maybe some flush draws without a pair that might make more sense. I think go ahead and check this one back. No, I bang off the nuts on that 4 straight there on that queen river. Table 1, I just checked in position. He stabs half pot. I've got an ace queen 10 two-tone board. I'm going to go ahead and float once with my gut shot to the 4 straight. Against that second barrel, I don't really love check raise bluffing fish, especially on the turn. So I think I can just go ahead and fold, even though that size doesn't scream strength to me. Table 2, going to go ahead and just pop the rib for value on that 4 straight board. Could have busted gut shots or flush draws with no pair that are doing this, or maybe even some weak pairs that flooded the flop that are turned into bluffs on that run out. Obviously, got to try to get value with the nuts. Table 3, open ace 6, blind on blind. Face a 3-bet, and I will fold my raggy ace. Middle position opens on table 3. I have 8-7 suited in the button. Against a player that I thought, or I was more convinced he was a recreational or weak player, I think I would 3-bet. It's okay to go ahead and fold. It was pretty close, though. If you want to play on the loose side, you could even call it as well on the button. And mostly I'm not calling on the button, absent some unusual circumstances of just trying to get involved with speculative hands against recreational players. But it's not an unreasonable play. The flat. All options are really viable and have some merit in that particular spot. Against a player who I have no reason to think he is not a reg, I'm just going to play a 3-better fold strategy and try to play reasonably optimal, try to get a frequency at about what a solver would do. And pick the best possible options for that, and some of the weaker suited connectors I will mostly fold. Table 1, a recreational player open limps. I'll complete my small blind with 5-3 suited. We go to the flop. I flop top 2 on 5-3 deuce rainbow. The in-position player that open limps is short stacked and he bets out for pot. I am just going to plan to check raise this hand and go with it. Go ahead and put in the check raise. They're not worried about straights or sets when he's that low. Can easily have hands like ace-5 or small overpairs that just never ever get away from it. He goes ahead and clicks back my check raise. We'll jam this in now before any cards scare him off. He's got pocket aces. I've got 2 pair. He got cute. He got trapped. He got stacked. Blind on blind over here on table 4. Going to defend the open with ace-9. Living clean, running pure, flopping trips, top kicker, 9-9-4 two-tone. Table 1, opening queen jack from the button. Big blind checks to me on 8-6 deuce rainbow. We're going to go ahead and continuation bet. Use a bit larger pot on that bet size, a half pot on that low board. Blind on blind, table 4, he bets slightly over pot 6 into 570. I'm going to go ahead and flat call my trips. The rich get richer, my hand gets stronger, my trips turn into quads on that 9 turn. So I'm now sitting on quad 9s against a guy who's been showing strength with his bet sizing thus far. Table 1, opening queens in the cutoff. Get a second barrel over here from this guy. I don't think this guy's a reg. He might be a rec. Either way, I don't see any reason to raise. Just keep flatting there in that roughly half pot bet with my quad 9s. Get to the river, give him a chance to put even more money in. No sense blowing him off bluffs at this point. Table 3, button opens. I've got king, queen in the button. Going to go ahead and 3-bet. I get a third barrel over here with the quads hand on table 4. He bets 26 into 32. Going to go ahead and tank for a minute and then jam it all in. Table 2, opening king 7 suited blind on blind, faces a 3-bet. Get that quad 9's hand in now. He quickly folds. He was bluffing, so by not raising the turn, I picked up another 26 blinds from his river bluff. King 7 suited a little bit weak to continue against a 3-bet, even blind on blind, so I'll let that one go. Table 3, I'm on the button with pocket 7s. The cutoff has raised, but I am going to be playing my pocket 7s. We'll go ahead and 3-bet these. Not really having much of a flat range, playing 3-bet or fold. If you are mixing in flats, this kind of hand plays well as a flat also. But going to be just fine to 3-bet here, button versus cutoff. Keep my life a little bit simpler, a little bit easier. Face a 4-bet on table 3, a very small 4-bet for a player that's out of position. He pretty much just doubles it. He goes from 8.5 to 19, so I guess more like 2.2x, something like that. Can definitely be calling with pocket pairs against that size, so we're going to call and take a flop. I can trap with aces. I can call with, kings and queens are going to be jammed all in, and I don't have deuces. So I don't really have any sets on this board, but I do have king, queen, and I do have trapped aces. I do have some hands like king, jack, king 10 here. I might even have hands like jack 10 against that small 4-bet pre-flop, so I could have some draws. He goes ahead and bets out a quarter. I think I have to flat here, especially with the heart in my hand. So I'm going to go ahead and stick around and look to play some more poker on later streets. Table 2, suspected recreational player open limps under the gun. I isolate my cutoff, or I guess that's middle position because of the missing player. I isolate my cutoff with ace-king. Table 3, face a second barrel on that 8 of hearts. I'm going to go ahead and fold my 7-7 with a heart now. Although it is tempting given I've got the heart in my hand. I think it's just going to be a move to fold here, though. I face a limp re-raise. 5x size. Probably just go ahead and 4-bet hands like kings, aces, ace-king suited. I'm going to go ahead and take a flop. Treat this as a pretty strong range and play cautiously, even with hands as strong as ace-king offsuit and queens. Call lots of pocket pairs, queens down through about 8s or 7s, something like that, and a couple suited Broadway cards, ace-queen. We'll go ahead and take the flop here with ace-king. Not a great flop for ace-king offsuit, jack 8-7 two-tone, no relevant suit in my hand, so I may actually be able to fold the flop here, That's out small. I think I actually, let me see here. I mean, I've got sets of 8s, maybe sets of 7s, sets of jacks. Got hands like ace-jack. I've got some flush draw type cards. Even my hands like 10s and 9s have gut shots. This is actually just one of my weakest possible hands here. I think it's going to be okay to fold it, especially with no good suits. Table 3, button opens. I 3-bet the small blind with king, queen suited. Table 2, open an ace-10 suited from middle position. Table 2, I'm facing a 3-bet from the in-position player. Be planning to 4-bet here, like queens plus ace king to stack off with. I'm going to mix in a few combos, like some of my weakest suited broadways that aren't going to be continues for a call, and maybe some wheel aces. I'm going to go ahead and put in the 4-bet bluff with the ace 10 suited here. Table 3, opening king queen suited from middle position. Four bet gets called. We take a flop. We have a queen 4-3 two-tone board. Not a whole lot going for my hand, but I am going to go ahead and put in a small continuation bet here. I can pick up kings, aces, jacks to pick up some kind of either top pair or draw. Guess I can even pick up draws on a 5 or a deuce here with those two low cards out there. Pick up the deuce. Now I'm trying to decide if there's any merit in trying to just jam and fold him off of hands. I've got ace 5 for effectively the nuts here in my bluffing range. Got kings that wants to bet. I think kings is a good jam here, and then maybe like ace king would probably be pretty good if I've got some suited, like a flush draw type hand. I think I'll go ahead and check this one. Table 3, I open king, queen suited, middle position. The big blind 3-bets me, and I'll defend for a call and go to the flop. Table 1, cutoff opens. I 3-bet the small blind with ace 9 suited, and the queen 9 deuce two-tone board. I'll go ahead and continuation bet. I'm going to go ahead and try to turn my ace 10 into a bluff on table 2. Table 3, going to defend on that queen 6-3 rainbow board with my top pair second kicker. Start checking on table 1 now here with my second pair top kicker. And I think I'll just try to show this down. We've got ace, queen, king, queen, jack over here. And maybe a set or two. I guess I can have queens and sixes. So I do have some hands to continue. I don't know, folding this hand seems like it's getting awful weak. Although, do I really want to be calling down the river? And this guy's aggressive also, so I'm going to stick around. Gonna bluff catch over here. Pocket jack's getting thin value. I kind of like that. Third barrel. I think in this tight formation I can fold. I almost wonder if the turn is supposed to be a fold. Table 2, I'm going to go ahead and defend here with the overcards and some backdoor straight draws, backdoor flush draws against that small bet on the 9-4 deuce board. Turn this hand into a bluff that checks through, of course. Checks through. Just go ahead and bluff out with the queen high. Take that one down. Table 1, going to open Queen Jack from middle position. Table 1, the big blind calls, checks to me on Ace-10-6 rainbow. I'll put in a small continuation bet. Table 3, open jacks from the cutoff. Recreational player and a suspected wreck both call out of the blinds. I've got a middle set on King Jack 6. Table 1, I get check called. Turn is a deuce of hearts. I've got a gut shot with the flush draw blocker. I'm going to go ahead and use this as an overbet bluff. That heart blocker will help me differentiate between which gut shots I want to bet, which ones I want to check. Table 3, I'm in position. I'm going to go ahead and continuation bet. Not my entire range here multi-way, but definitely be continuation betting middle set. Using a smaller size than normal here just because we're multi-way, so going down to more like a quarter pot. Don't need to do it, but I think it's a bit more theoretically correct and sound to use a smaller size as you get multi-way. Already betting small on that flop anyway for the most part, but can go even smaller with the two players out there. Even against my super small bet, nobody wants to come along and they both fold. Table 1, recreational player limps. I check in and check flop checks through. I've got 9-4 of hearts on King Jack 8-10 front door flush draw. I'm going to go ahead and start semi-bluffing. I also have the open under with the 9. A lot of good cards for me there on the river. However, we never see it as my turn bet picks up the pot uncontested. Recreational player open limps on table 1. I'm raising out of the blinds with pocket 9s. Standard straightforward play here thus far. He limp folds. Table 1, blind on blind. He limps. I raise up with pocket 3s. He limp calls. Get an ace-7 deuce two-tone board. He checks to me. I'll go ahead and put in a small continuation bet here. He check calls. Turn is a 4. I guess I have a smidge of showdown value against any deuce X hands he might have. Maybe that's asking a lot, but I'm going to have a pretty wide range here, so turning pairs into bluffs seems like it might be overdoing it. I'm going to go ahead and check this one back, get to the river. River 8 of diamonds, flush closing card. I think the play here is going to be to turn this hand into a bluff. I could do that if I'd overbet on the scary card against a likely fish. I think I can fold him off enough 7x type hands that it's going to be worth doing. You could also just show it down and try to beat a deuce. Be hard to fold out an ace. Oh, and he had a king. Somehow he had king 8. King 8 of diamonds. I guess his play's alright. Post flop. But he is a recreational player, open lipping the button. Table 3, open ace 9 suited from the cutoff. Both blinds come along and call. Get a queen 10 deuce two-tone board. I do have a backdoor flush draw. I think I'll just check that one back. Table 1, open king 7 suited on the button, or king 7 offsuit rather on the button. A little bit loose, but want to go after these weak players. Table 3, I'm going to check back here, given the opportunity. Table 1, they both call me, and I've got a king 5-5 two-tone board. The big blind bets 1 into 7. I'll just treat that like a fancy check and just call it. I don't think there's much reason to raise the weak king there. Good turn card for me, another 5, making it harder for him to have a 5 that beats me and making my hand invulnerable to any sort of draw now except for an ace-high overcard. He continues betting. This time he bets out full pot. I am going to call. River is an 8, so I beat everything except quad 5s. He blasts for pot. No reason to fold. No reason to raise. Call is an easy decision here. I call. He's got pocket 6s. My hand is good. And that's why we play few extra hands against Fitch. They do dumb shit like that and just give me a bunch of blinds that they have no reason to let me get. And I'm here for it. That's what I'm here for, as a matter of fact. Table 4, open ace 3 on the button. An open ace queen from what's effectively middle position on table 1. Table 2 is short stack player, broken stack on 70 some blinds, open limp, so I'll isolate from the button with Jack 10 suited. Get a call from the small blind and from the limping player. Get a monotone Queen Jack 7 flop. Planning to check this one back here with second pair and no interaction with the flush draw components of that board. Turn is the king of diamonds, putting a 4 flush up there. Table 1, I got called in position and by a suspected wreck in the big blind, although I think he's maybe not necessarily a fish. I'm going to check in between the two players. I've got top pair, top kicker on Queen 10 for rainbow. I'm going to keep checking back my jack over here on table 2. Table 4, open ace queen from middle position. Table 1, going to check call that small flop stab. Continue checking the turn on the rainbow completing 3. Table 3, button opens. I'm going to 3-bet my big blind with king, queen. In position, player stabs again, 3/4. I've still got top pair, top kicker. Going to continue check calling. River is a 4, pretty innocuous. Not too likely he has a 4. I continue checking. He checks back at that point. And ace queen is good against ace jack that never hit its gut shot. Table 2, recreational player, open limps. I had a fold out on that 4 flush board. Some crazy river action, and I didn't have anything all that good. Same guy, open limps. I isolate with king 10 suited. Short stack in the big blind calls. Limper comes along as well. We get an ace jack 6 rainbow board. I've got a gut shot to the nuts with the Broadway draw. Any backdoor flush draw I get led into for half pot by the limp calling player. I am going to float that. Table 1, button opens. I'll defend with king 10. Take a flop. He bets half pot on the turn. I like to go after the recreational players in these weak leads, but given that it's multi-way, I'm a lot less confident that he's going to have more random BS. That's not to say that he doesn't have any. I think I can go ahead and try to put a play on him here. I don't know that I should follow through the river, though, against a call, as I'm really not folding out aces or jacks. And I guess my king high is good against any other busted draw, and now I just play the board. My turn play doesn't work right there. I'm okay with giving it a try against that small bet, even though I'm a little bit dicey with it in the multi-way flop starting out. And then he donks into me on the river half pot. I play the board. I'm just going to go ahead and fold. Table 4, cutoff opens. I'll 3-bet the button with pocket kings. Nothing controversial about that, I'm sure. Table 1, open ace king from the cutoff. Table 1, open king 10 suited from middle position. Recreational player calls on the cutoff. I've got a gut shot on Queen 9-9 Rainbow. Gonna go ahead and check to the in position player. He checks back. Gonna go ahead and start bluffing now with my gut shot, and he quickly folds. Table 2, blind non-blind. Our rep tries to limp. I'm not gonna let him do that. I'm gonna raise him up with my ace-8. He limp calls. We get a 6-3 deuce two-tone board. I am going to continuation bet this guy, use a half pot size. Table 3, opening Jack 10 for middle position, a little bit loose, going after the weak players. Table 2, my continuation bet faces a check raise, but it's a click back. It literally just doubles it from 285 to 5.7, so I'm going to float that with all kinds of stuff like random overcards ace high. He follows through on that 5 turn, putting a 4 straight out there. Small bet, but I'm not going to start putting plays on fish and check raise lines here on scary boards. So I'll go ahead and fold there. Actually, it's about time for me to be going as I've got something to go do shortly here. So I'm going to play one last orbit here at these tables. In fact, I'll even let the big blind hit me and play one more here too, so they're all synced up about the same. All tables have some fish at them, so it's worth squeezing a couple more hands here on the way out the door. Table 2, recreational player open limp, so I'm going to isolate my button with ace-8. Big blind defends and the limper calls. We get a king 7-4 rainbow board. I'll be checking this one back. Good card for me, that ace overcard on the turn. I'm going to go ahead and check back and try to induce bluffs or under-rep my hand for one-streeted value on the river. I don't think I can really get 2 streets from enough worse hands to really justify betting the turn. Recreational player min bets. I'm going to just ignore that, treat it like a fancy check, and put in my 3/4. Now technically a raise instead of a bet here, but put in what I would do. See if he'll just get suspicious and call me with Queen Jack. He does get suspicious, he does call, and he has to muck as I have top pair. He had a queen. Queen 6 offsuit. Table 3, open 6-4 suited on my button. Big blind comes along and calls, get an 8-8 deuce two-tone board. he donks that, I'll just fold, but if he checks to me, I'll put in a small continuation bet. Best card, I guess, would be a 5. It would give me a double gut shot. Last hand on table 2, going to open ace-jack under the gun. I face a check call over there on table 3. I don't really block any of the floats that will now fold the turn. There's some merit to bluffing with a hand like this. I guess I've got various straight draws and flush draws that make more sense to use. So I'm going to go ahead and play a bit more on the cautious side and just check this back and plan to bluff the river. My ace-jack gets called by the small blind and squeezed by the big blind. I'm going to go ahead and fold. I'm going to go ahead and reopen as a bluff on table 3. I don't think that's a terribly effective line. He backed into a 10 that he floated with on the flop. Guess that's all right. Last hand on table 3, ace-5 in middle position. That one will be a fold. Going to shut it down and cut the video for now. I'm signing off. Until next time, this is Charlie Murphy, and thank you for watching.